Hey champions, this video is a little bit different than everything I've done before. I took a little bit more of a serious tone and I want to talk about the philosophy of what it means to make a game, the collectability of a game, and my perspective on how I want Genesis to be seen as a collectible item in the future. Alright, let's get to the video. Alright, so this time I don't have any special images that I'm gonna put up. It's just gonna be me talking to the camera. I hope you're okay with looking at my face for this entire video. I've been thinking about this a lot, especially as we announced the Kickstarter, wrapped up the championship, and started announcing the Kickstarter, and really shifting the focus. Something that I've been thinking about is our business philosophy. And at the end of the day, what are we building towards? What are we making? And who are we as a company? And one thing I like to talk about is how, for many people, they would assume that you build a company, it sells a great product, and all you're trying to do is build your company up, make more revenue, and grow in that regards. And one thing I talked to the team about, and we try to align our philosophy on a lot of during a lot of the process, is we are in servitude to Genesis. And it's a weird thing to say, and it's a weird thing to think about, but the more you understand it, the more you grasp it, the more it makes sense when you're trying to make decisions. I want to take this a step back. If you ever heard of I want to say he's a philosopher, he's more like a life coach, Simon Sinek. He did a great TED Talk years ago about start with why. One of the things he talks about is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And he makes a lot of great examples in his talk. He talks about the Wright brothers, he talks about Martin Luther King, he talks about Steve Jobs and Apple computers, or Apple. And at the end of the day, the people who are really passionate, who are really following you and the projects you do, and who want to live within the environment that you're creating, they're going to align themselves not to the product and not to the company, but to the actions and beliefs that the company represents. And we think about that a lot when we design different parts of Genesis. And one thing I've heard a lot of people give us admiration for, and I'm happy that they're recognizing it, is that we are making a game first. So I have this up, and I've talked about this a lot, but there's a mantra that I have right behind my webcam here, and it says we make games that are collectibles, not a collectible that is also a game. And I really like this philosophy because it means that everything we do is about making Genesis something that is playable. It's come to the kitchen table, bring your cards, play the game, go to your local game store, support them, and grow your community. Come compete at the championship. Show us your love for the game. Try to get to the first place. And if you can't, then enter into a side tournament and enjoy your time at the event. Meet the game designers. Sit down. Have a one-on-one with them. Meet the artists. Get them to commission something for you that you can take away that says, I was there. I got to meet these people. And they love the game, they respect the game, they are big supporters. And one thing we talked about it, and I think I mentioned this in my Patreon video, but I didn't put it up in a vlog video, which is I had someone come to the championship and he was watching all the people interact. It was lunchtime and we went and grabbed our sandwiches and we're standing at a table talking and interacting, and he looks at everyone who's in the hall and it's like, something you get when you're around these people is that you feel that they're all best friends, that they've known each other for a very long time. And I corrected him and I was like, in reality, a lot of these people are meeting for the first time today, but they feel like they're friends. They feel like they have this one thing in common, that they're coming together and they can celebrate it together. And I love that. I love that experience. For anyone who was at the hall when Steve-O arrived and saw Damian for the first time across the hall and screamed, and you could hear it by the elevators. He was so excited. It was like seeing a best friend that he hadn't seen for 20 years. And games bring people together. It builds friendships, it builds communities, and these are things that are wonderful. And if we focus on making a great game that people want to play, that's what they're going to push forward. That's what they're going to do. Now, the collectible part of Genesis is important. It is a collectible card game. Well, it's a tactical collectible card game, but it is collectible. And the way I view collectability is there's going to be a vast majority of the parts of the game that are collectible, not because they are rare or unique, but because they have history to them. There's something about them that celebrates a moment in the game's history that people absolutely love. And this is why when the champions win the championship event, the card that they won with, that actual card, I get them to sign it, and I take that. That's my history that I get to collect. The two cards that won the 2019 champion and the 2021 championship, I have those. No one else does. And that's an amazing feel for me. That's something that's collectible. People will go out and collect bolt shots. It won the 2019. It won the 2021. I'm pretty sure it won the 2019. I have to go watch that video. But there's history to that card. And that's why they're collectible. The collectability of Genesis comes from a history of endurance, of perseverance, of being the underdog and getting this far and growing further, and us seeing the future and being like, I want to show people that I was there throughout, that I have those moments captured somewhere. Showing people your a complete set of beta, being like, I was able to get all of this, right? Showing them all the epics from Welcome to JLR and being like, I was able to be there and get these from the packs. I didn't have to buy the singles. I opened up the packs and got these cards. Those are the things that I find very collectible. Now, that's not to say that we won't create things in the future that are, how do I put them? That are unique, rare, one-of-a-piece type of items. We put up the printing plates into the auction, and the key thing about those was that those are literally one of a kind. I'm giving up part of my personal collection for the community to have it, because I want the community to appreciate and celebrate the game and have those momentums going forward. So those are rare items, and I think that there is value in those, but I don't want to create anything that will tarnish the integrity of what Genesis represents, that will ruin the integrity of the competitive scene that Genesis is trying to build. When we released Sky Storm Dragon, and literally the only way to play with this card was through getting the promo at SkyCon and having enough of them to put them into your deck, that hurt me. That was like, I messed up. I ruined the integrity of the game to make a gimmicky hook. And we corrected that in raids with Zamba Dragon, but if I were to go back, that's one of the things I would not have done. Not the numbering of Sky. That's I'm fine with. 1 of 100 or 1 of 4. Those I'm fine with. It's the fact that Sky only appeared as a SkyCon promo. I wish I could have changed that. And now those two cards sit as different names. So if we ever have a card in the game that is based off of the names of a card, then these cards are going to be different. They're going to be functionally unique. They do the same thing, but now the name of the card actually matters, which will separate these two. So those are things that I think about. Those are some of the regrets I hold in bigger regards than things like going to a convention and not selling any copies of the game, which did happen. I was up, where did we go? It was a convention in BC, Shucks, and we didn't sell any copies of the game, and it was very frustrating because we bought the plane ticket, we bought all our inventory, and at that time no one was interested in Genesis. But actually I walked away from there with another really cool piece of Genesis history, where I got to sit down from one of the content creators from the YouTube channel Shut Up and Sit Down, and he saw the game and loved it. Couldn't take any of it with him because he had so many games that people were giving him for free. But I asked him to sign a Raha card for me, and I got that signature on a piece of Genesis, and it's now part of history. So there are things that are collectible. There are going to be things that are valuable in this game. But I want that value, I want that collectability to come from a testament of how we have endured in this space, how we were actually struggling before the idea of new TCGs coming to the market was status quo as it is right now. There's so many games coming to the market, and when we were selling Genesis back in 2017, no one thought that a new game could come to the market unless it was borrowing off of an old IP, an established IP. So the fact that we were coming in with our own IP and our own mechanics, was completely self-funded, and being a tactical card game, there wasn't a lot of hope that we would be able to persevere. And the fact that we did, that's what makes these items memorable. That's what makes them collectible. So those are the things I think about. When I think about owning a piece of basketball history, something like the Air Jordans, it's because it isn't because the shoes are awesome. It's because of what they represent, right? Michael Jordan's history in basketball, or Wayne Gretzky's history in hockey, or Tim Hortons. Actually, part of the reason I love visiting my family up north is because where they live, that's where Tim Hortons himself was born, and they have a museum for him. And I've always been a huge fan of Tim Hortons, but now every time I go up there, it makes me feel a little bit more special. It's like it's part of history now. And these are the things I think about when it comes to making a great game. I want Genesis to be collectible because we made a great game that survives, and it is going to be a item that you can hold up and say, I was there at the beginning of the game, and that's why this card is valuable. Alright, that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed this type of concept. It was very different than what I normally talk about. I have a lot more updates, but this time, this is something I've been thinking a lot about, especially as we lead into the Kickstarter, and how we want to make sure we don't ruin the integrity of the game as we launch the game. That's everything I want to talk about in today's video. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all our Patreon supporters. Without you, this game would not be where it is today. Thank you for being so awesome.